We have a special treat today. We're gonna change things up a little bit, and we are gonna watch the movie October Baby. Vanessa and I have both seen it, and I know that you guys haven't. So you are in for, can I say a treat?
Yeah, I think so. It's an emotional treat. It's just beautiful. But I can tell you that I'm not normally a crier, especially with movies, but I think I went through half a box of tissue. And I've seen it more than once. And I've cried every time I've seen it. So yeah, I would say be prepared for that, but just naturally based on the content of it, us and our situation, we're obviously so close to that. We would be crying anyway, but it's such a beautiful journey. You know, hope and redemption and reconciliation, grace. It has all of that. It's really beautiful. I don't want to give too much away, but it is.
Well, the story is about a young woman, college-aged, who finds out that she's adopted, and so she's dealing with that particular issue, and then she further finds out that she was the product of a failed abortion. So that just adds to the complexity of her search and of her story. What have you guys heard about it?
I had heard very little, actually. I'd heard that it was about a failed abortion, which I'm still trying to figure out how that happens. But the overall opinions that I've heard about it is just that. It's very emotional. It's funny, I've heard very little about the storyline, but I've just heard, oh my gosh, it's so emotional. Oh my gosh, you're gonna go through a bunch of tissues, which has me a little concerned. So I bought waterproof mascara on the way over here today, so I'm somewhat prepared. But it's interesting, because everybody's immediate reaction to it is just how emotional it is and how wonderful it is. But I actually haven't heard much about the basis of the storyline.
Yeah, I've heard very little also, but I did hear it was about a girl or young woman who found out she was adopted and that she was a product of a failed abortion, but, you know, and that it was a very good movie, and, you know, that be prepared to cry and get emotional. But I'm really looking forward to seeing it, so.
I haven't heard much about the storyline itself either, but just how good it was and how well it was told. And that it's emotional. Same thing.
But again, take that as it's a good thing. It's a beautiful story, and you will end up enjoying the story. That I can promise you. So we're gonna head down to the TV room and watch a movie.
Let's go.
Okay, is everybody comfortable?
Yes.
Much as we can be.
You trust me, you're gonna love it. Let me know when you need tissue. I've got a stash over here, and it's truly not, if you need tissue, it's gonna be when. So, all right, let's get things started.
The human heart is a scary part, in fact. 'Cause I could break you and you could break me back. Though my head says just forget it, you get hurt and you'll regret it. Ask me now and I won't hesitate. 'Cause I'm fearful of heights and you take me higher.
watching the movie with the ladies, I knew they were going to react the first time, the way that I did the first time watching it. This is, I think, my 4th time seeing the movie, and I remember my first time. So I kind of was at the corner of my eye looking at them, but I really didn't have to because they were all sniffling and crying and reacting the same way. I think anybody would. I remember seeing the movie theater and men crying, so I expected them to react just the way they did.
Watching the movie with the girls was very interesting. Knowing what was going to happen in the movie, I was trying to anticipate some of their reactions, but then I found myself very caught up in the movie again. And I knew that when I was crying, I was hearing them cry too, that it was having the same effect on them that it was having on me. You know, we share a common story, and those places where it cuts deeply, you know, it hurts for all of us. And I saw that in them. So, I've seen it before.
You knew what was coming.
It doesn't change the impact.
No, it doesn't.
Tell me.
Can't talk. Can't talk.
I know, but it's good. It's good.
Well, I relate to the birth mother so much because you try so hard to forget. You do everything you can to forget. And then life and God goes, oh no, no, we're not gonna forget. We can heal, and we can learn.
Because I have more
right
for you.
Right.
Are you one of the new interns? You know, I would love to talk, but I have a lunch appointment.
I was born October the 7th, 1991 at Mobile General Hospital. I guess I came here because I hope that meant something to you.
Stacy, could you please cancel my lunch and hold all my calls? I don't know what you wanted.
Hey, honey, you ready? We gotta go. Lily's waiting for us in the lobby. Oh, I'm sorry. Who's this?
I have no idea.
I feel in this study that I've progressed yet again, and I've learned more, and I've had more healing, but man, when's the hurt gonna stop? You know, when's the hurt stop?
You know, I don't. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's hurt. You know, as much as it is identifying or
Regret.
yeah, you know,
word I'm
and
thinking.
it's a lot of different things.
What were you gonna say, Jane?
I was just gonna say the regret, you know, just for me, you know, especially since, you know, I haven't had any more children. I mean, at the time I didn't know that, but you know, now looking back, but
It's remorse. I think it's mourning.
It's
You know, I think
it's
that's-
grief. It's
yeah,
just grief.
I don't think it's a guilt thing. I don't, you know, I think it's definitely, yeah, I mean, it's anybody you love that dies. It's somebody you love that, you know, is no longer with you.
When Surrender the Secret returns.
The violence of what an abortion is right there in front of your face. And there is no denying the horror. And that's what it is, it's horror. And until people see that, they're going to continue to think that this is an acceptable practice.
Hannah, your mother was carrying twins, and your brother came first. And I always remember him. He was so teeny. He was less than a pound. And he was damaged. His arm was missing, completely gone. Torn off during a failed attempt. But he was just... I saw him shaking there. I saw the pain. And I didn't see no tissue. I just saw the face of a child.
The first time I saw the movie, the part where she's describing the baby's birth, I thought I was gonna throw up.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, sweet God, no. That reality was sobering to the soul. When Jasmine Guy's character, the nurse, is explaining to Hannah about her birth and the birth of her brother, when she talks about Hannah's brother being born without an arm, the violence of what an abortion is right there in front of your face. And there is no denying the horror. And that's what it is, it's horror. And until people see that, they're going to continue to think that this is an acceptable practice.
Well, we go, I guess it seems like so long ago, week 3, where we talk about the truth. Yeah. We watch the sonogram and we talk about the facts. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that was something I had never heard of before. Yeah. But sadly, I can only assume that is more than a person's story.
Well, and that's what you lived.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the line that stuck out the most to me was, being human is being beautifully flawed. That's so true. Even, not just for women who've had abortions, for anybody. It's, God made us all different. And we all have gone through different struggles and different things in our lives. And that's what makes us us. And I'm flawed, but in God's eyes, I'm still beautiful. I'm his child. And, there are more flaws that I'm gonna make more mistakes. I'm gonna be flawed more before, my life is over. And he's gonna love me anyway, and I'm still gonna be beautiful in his eyes. And I mean, there's nothing better than that. So that was a good line that is gonna stick with me, I think.
It comes back to God is so good. And he, all of our different experiences in life have brought us to this point together where we can all come together and talk about our children and mourn that loss and celebrate and celebrate their lives and celebrate the fact that we serve a God who loves us so much that he sent his son for us. And we're very fortunate that we can come together you know, and cling to the, I know in my life, sometimes I feel like that's the only thing I have to hold on to is Christ. And I think that we're very fortunate because there are so many women that don't have a group like this, that don't have anybody that they can share their grief with. And you know, what we're doing here, sharing the deepest, darkest parts of our world will hopefully bring some light into some other women's worlds, you know, God willing. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. We actually have a special guest that I'm really excited for you guys to meet. Just very much a surprise for you that I think you guys are going to be very happy to meet this person. So we will come back together in just a minute and meet her.
When we get back,
Ladies, open your eyes and please meet Shari Rigby.
We went into it, and I remember the cameras rolling, and I just, right as I walked into the room, I just knew that the Lord was with me. And that it was just complete healing in the moment that I slide down that door, and that I'm crying and I'm feeling that wasn't acting. That was my moment with God and Him with me to say, it's okay, it's over. And you've been forgiven.
Well, now that we have been through the emotional roller coaster of the movie, we have a really special guest that we're going to bring in. I think you guys are going to love meeting her. So hang on one second, just close your eyes, because this is going to be a surprise. Like a real surprise, so close your eyes.
Okay.
Ladies, open your eyes and please meet Shari Rigby.
Wait, I can't get on the couch. Oh my gosh, hi. How are you?
I loved the surprise of Shari Rigby being there today. I loved seeing their reaction because she was not who they were expecting. And you know, just my own personal experience, this is a gal who's a celebrity, and that's just cool. There's just a huge cool factor there. And but outside of that, here is the woman who has just portrayed our story, every one of us as women who've chosen abortion, and then to have her walk in and be able to sit down and discuss her own story. Wow, talk about relatable. Stacy, can...
Amazing surprise.
What did you guys think?
Wonderful.
Well, look at her.
I know. It was incredible. I mean, the interview that you do at the end where you talked about this was your story and how God just ordained that for you. I will tell you, now having seen it for the second time, as you slide down that wall and you are holding, and you're holding that. I mean, that is something that I think, I know for me and maybe for most women who've had an abortion, to have that kind of closure would just be, it would be a gift from God. It was a gift from God. Well, during the filming of October Baby, there's some very powerful scenes for me, and really the beginning of a healing process for me was when Rachel Hendricks, who plays Hannah, walks into my office. And, you know, as actors, we prepare for these scenes, but really in that moment, it was so incredible because I remember, you know, hearing action, walking into this room, and I'm looking down at all my papers, and she delivers these lines to me. And I look up and I remember in this moment, you know, looking into Rachel's eyes and to her face. And it really wasn't a moment of listening to an actress. It was really this moment of seeing my little girl that I aborted 20 years ago. And it was a moment of realizing the beauty of that gift, but also in the moment of really living a moment of shame and understanding that I could have been standing with my little girl all these years later, and this is what she potentially would have looked like. I relate with you in that way because I didn't have, you know, I was ushered into the doctor's office, I was given a pill and I was put to sleep and the abortion took place, and I don't even know the procedure that was performed on me. And so I think that, you know, that's something for me in that scene that God just really gifted me with. This was something that I did not speak about. It was something I did not share with people. And so really my healing really began in reading that script and sitting down with it. In that moment is when he called me to confession. And when and this is 20 years after the fact. And thinking about that moment, he calls me to confession for my sin of abortion, and I confess it, and that's when the floodgates opened for me. It was a whole new beginning, and that's when he showed me some great things in that moment, but it wasn't until that time. And then as I worked through that and then the film, you know, that was a healing process for me. And then I worked through Surrendering the Secret with Pat, and then on my own, just because of the busy schedule that I had. So that's where it started. So I've been doing this now and walking through this healing process for 2 years now, and then speaking on it, I feel like I relive it every night, so.
When Surrender the Secret returns.
It was comforting to know that, hey, look, I'm human too, and I've done this, and, you know, I have your back, and we have each other's back, and let's go, and let's get the word out, and let's get these women healed.
Well, I was just going to ask you, was there any part in the study for you that just really sticks in your mind?
It's the moment of writing down the things that I've lived with for so many years of my life, writing the letters to the father, writing the letters to people that were in my life at that time. Those were really big things for me because I had never walked through those experiences. And I know so much more of it. I mean, there's so much more to Surrendering the Secret than that, but for me, that was really the floodgates for me that opened it up. And so I think that was really one of the most special parts for me.
Nice. I'm going to throw that question back to you guys.
I'm still trying to breathe.
What is the one part of the study that really connected? I mean, can you think of one? Let me just.
I'm like her. I think the writing of the letters, for me, it began to make it real, because I had gone so many years really without truly talking about it, dealing with it. So I think that was the beginning for me also in the feeling. But it actually took me going through it twice before I got additional healing that I really needed. So, but I think kind of that stage for me.
I know this time going through it, you know, and I've done it now, this is the 4th time, when we were talking about the things that were lost. When you started counting the cost in your own life, that was a big revelation for me. Is there anybody else that, you know, one particular part of the study stands out?
Oh, gosh, and forgive me because I want to say it's either week 2 or week 3, but when it broke it down for you, when it said, okay, let me just tell you, you're forgiven, but let's break it down with what is a baby, what's life, at what point, and let's look at several weeks old, let's look at, so when I looked at that list, I knew I was forgiven, but I wrote down, I murdered my baby.
The enormity of our choice.
Yeah.
Right there.
So that's when things broke for me, you know. As a woman who has had an abortion, it was really cool to be in this study with these women that have gone through the same thing I've gone through, you know. Very, very supportive, and we've gone through the study together, but there was a different element watching the movie, and then the actress who plays the mother, the biological mother in the movie, also being her interview, her testimony, being a post-abortive woman. I related so much more to her being in the same field, I guess, maybe, and her giving that public proclamation of her experience, because she did not have to do that, but she did.
I truly believe my life verse is Acts 20:24, where it specifically says that my life means nothing to me. And so, you know, I am to run the race and complete the task of glorifying the grace and the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so if that means that I'm going to be, you know, thrown out of Hollywood because of a movie that I tell, because isn't that our goal as actors and actresses, that we're supposed to get scripts that go, this moves us and we're gonna tell these powerful stories. So if I get thrown out on that, you know, that's whatever, my God is much bigger than that. You know, and he's doing so many great things that I feel like if I step out in faith, that he's just continuously blessing me in this, and the healing that I'm seeing from so many men and women, it's been incredible.
Talking with her is like, it's so uplifting, and the way she just spits out scripture and talking about her experience on the movie, but how it paralleled with her life and her abortion, and talking with her was just, it was like it was almost her story that we had just watched, instead of I'm talking to an actress that just acted a part. And so talking with her was really, it was also good to know there's somebody else out there. I know that there are other women out there, but it's been just us 5 for this whole thing. And so to know that there's somebody all the way in California, and she's been through the same thing, and she's hurt like us, and she's grieved like us, and you know, she's a star in these movies, and it's just, it was comforting to know that, hey, look, I'm human too, and I've done this, and you know, I have your back, and we have each other's back, and let's go, and let's get the word out, and let's get these women healed.
When Surrender the Secret returns.
I feel like we're like soldiers. We are. We're Christian soldiers. We are.
We are called to be
And we're on a
warriors.
mission now, you know, kind of like not being afraid to talk about abortion, and, you know, like we've been talking about.
I've been hugging the
questioning, so.
Sam asked, what did anyone else have?
I was just going to make a comment that since I got involved with the filming, that I'm more comfortable speaking about my, sharing my story, being open about it to other women, and 2 women have told me they had abortions. So it's like, I think this is what God has intended for us, to start, reaching out, sharing with other women to help in their healing, because neither one of these women have gone through a recovery Bible study. So.
And it's interesting because I think you're gonna hear from a lot of men too. I mean, I've been on the road and I'm blown away with so many men walk up to me and, they share something with me that they were part of an abortion or, whatever it looks like to them in their lives. And I've just been blown away by the stories. And you're gonna be like in the grocery store and all of a sudden it's just like God has opened, it's like you have a banner or something over your head going, please share your story with me. And I mean, I've been in the most craziest places and I've had people go, yes, I've had an abortion. And I'm just going, okay, okay. We have to talk. So I think it's incredible and you're ready for it. You've been Jeremiah 1,
I have no shame
so you're ready.
about it anymore. And I think I shared that with one of these 2 ladies and they're like, really, you don't? It's like, no, because I've been forgiven, I've been healed.
I have a question. Were there any moments that stick out in your mind from recording or filming October Baby? Or anybody that you got real close to?
Yes, actually, we joke around because my back guest house is like, it's got to have a plaque now that says October Baby group in the back. This year I've had, so far, Colleen Tressler has come to visit me with her husband. She played the beautiful blonde in the film. Rachel Hendricks, Jason Berkey has been there. So I've had everybody on extended stays visiting in California. It really became very much of a family unit of the story. One of probably my most memorable moments was with Anna, the wardrobe stylist, after my moment of sliding down the door and really living that moment with the Lord. She sat down and started holding me and we just cried together. Anna had just had a baby. She was 3 months old. And so she was really rejoicing in the love of that little girl and I was mourning mine. And so we sat there for about 15 minutes holding each other and I just remember we're like wiping each other's tears and the snot and like, she's trying to like take care of me and I'm wiping it off my, jacket knowing we've got to probably shoot again. And so it was just this intense moment, but it was a sister, like a bonding where, the arms of another woman, just to understand that moment was really super cool. And so that was one of my favorite moments. It was really cool. I loved it.
I had a question for you about the aftermath. I just had a conversation recently with a family member who was asking me, what happens now, when this is broadcast and family members or friends who don't know your story start coming around and asking you, questions. Did that happen to you after the movie, and how did you handle those situations?
Well, and I think that's a big question because I think that's something that you all will face. But for me, I have not had any family members really come to me and say anything negative. It's really been more of the opposite, where I've had family members come and say thank you for sharing, and thank you for the testimony and so on. I think the most surprising thing to me has been that some of the women that are the closest to me, that I know of their past and their history, that, family and friends, they're the ones that still at this point have not shared. And they actually went together and watched the film, and they've not shared anything about what they felt in the movie, how they felt, what my testimony did, to them. And so that's been very interesting to not hear them come. I figured they would have been the first to tell you the truth. I figured they would have been the first to call me and say, can we talk about what happened? Because we've been friends for, almost 30 years and nothing. Nothing. So, Yeah.
People are funny.
Well, it is funny, and in a way, it's intriguing and interesting. You know, there's been some moments on my heart where I feel like I need to be the one to ask, but then as I go to do that, I feel like the Lord just really stops me in that moment. That's something for them to share when they're ready. So, yeah.
I'm just going to be very public and say how proud I am of you guys. I don't know if I told you that before, for just being willing, being obedient, and being vulnerable. So thank you.
I think it was a blessing for all of us. So.
I'm sure we didn't feel like it at the time.
Yeah. This will take me a while later, but
I know. That the whole joy comes in the morning. While we're going through it, it's not a joyous thing, but it is a healing thing. And
It makes me feel like, yes, we're defeating Satan. We're not going to let him get the better of us. It's like, too bad, Satan. We're gonna fight. I feel like we're like soldiers. Mm-hmm. We are. We're Christian soldiers. We are.
We are called to be.
And we're on a mission now. Kind of like not being afraid to talk about abortion and, like we've been talking about. God has called us, or me, to be a warrior for him. To fight this battle, the abortion battle against Satan. I think that's why he's calling all of us. And we're expected now to go out and try to recruit for his army of warriors.
Well, and I think that's the power of wisdom. And as you're talking about being a warrior, in Ephesians, God gives us all of the tools to put on that armor, and I think that's where we find identity in Christ. So one, in walking in that, but also, one of the things in our identity and especially now I think going through this study that you really could focus on is, Matthew 10:16, where it talks about being, as wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove. I just don't think that they can defeat that. It's just...
Right.
It's such a powerful tool, and when we come across with wisdom and we come across with the love of Christ, those are our tools. Right. We got it. I just love that you guys. I got to watch your pilot episode, and the Lord has just anointed every one of you with this incredible ability to speak and to share your testimonies in a way that's just so heartfelt, and that is just such a powerful message. So I think you're armed and you're dangerous and you're ready to go.
Watch out, world.
I know, watch out, because here we come.
When Surrender the Secret returns.
The potential for Surrender the Secret as a show has it's a new meaning behind reality. And the new meaning behind reality is that we really get to walk through lives of women and see what they're going through in a healing process.
Shari, thank you so much for taking time out of your crazy schedule. I know that you've got 60 days on the road, 30 engagements, and so this is such a treat for us. Thank you for just your wisdom that you're pouring into us. And we so appreciate
Thank you
you
for
being
having
here.
me. I'm so excited for you guys. I remember the seed of this, and it's so great to see this and to see what you guys are doing. So be warriors and go in confidence as the Lord calls us to do. And you guys have had a great thing here. So God bless all of you. I'm excited to be a part of it. So thank you.
I found Shari's role in the film really interesting because she was in the film such a small amount of time, but overall what she expressed was so poignant to the overall film. When she was in the office and she had the moment where she saw the note where she was forgiven and she had the hospital bracelet, it was so heartbreaking to watch her experience that, but then to know the heartbreak of then having to share that secret where she took it home to her husband and had to share with him the story, this 19-year-old, 20-year-old story that he didn't know about. There's no words. It was beautiful just the way it was shot, because I don't think there could have been any words for it.
I am one who likes a big bow wrapped on my stories. I loved the montage at the end where we saw the closure for each of the different characters. For me in particular, Jasmine Guy's character, the nurse, has gone back to nursing, but instead of being in an abortion clinic, she's working in a neonatal unit with new babies. And so that rebirth, and I think we saw in each of the characters as the stories were closed out, it was also a rebirth for each of them. And you leave the movie, I leave the movie feeling very good that there is hope. Doesn't matter where you start from, there is hope.
Oh, I think it was so wonderful to see Shari come in today. That was a nice little surprise for everybody. And she's beautiful inside and out. And it was just a pleasure to hear her story, or a little part. I have a feeling she has a lot of story. Hear a little part of her story, and for her to be involved with this big picture. You know, we talked about being soldiers and an army rising up, and just to see such strong women, you know, more than happy and capable to take lead and do this. So very cool. She's very cool.
You know, I think that the potential for Surrender the Secret as a show has it's a new meaning behind reality. And the new meaning behind reality is that we really get to walk through lives of women and see what they're going through in a healing process. And we get to see that lived out weekly through this study, Surrendering the Secret. And what you're gonna see in this is just this incredible need. I mean, they're walking through healing, they're walking through this forgiveness spiritually, mentally, physically. And then the cool thing is we see them, they bond together as women. And I think that's another part of this ministry that we're gonna really start seeing is now the bond of so many sisters, and then also for men in Christ as they get to share their secrets of captivity and be held no more.
For me, the most interesting behind-the-scene moments have been off camera.
Well, you don't get to see all of us go run for the makeup as soon as the cameras stop rolling, because we've cried it all off.
Being part of this show has been one of the rare experiences of my career.
I can't believe what these women did.
I was most definitely, most purposefully meant to be on this show.
It was a learning and growing experience.
This adventure is beyond anything I could have ever expected it to be.
The darkness is gone.
I feel like we're all kindred spirits. I feel a real soul connection with them.
Way to go. I love you.
Don't make me cry. I don't want to cry today.